Hi everyone. Warm welcome to my channel Yummy to present the most delicious and easy recipes. We are here to enjoy cooking. I kindly request you to subscribe to my channel, add some comments and smash the like button.
Hi, welcome back to Venom and Peonies. Today I'm going to be doing a leek and potato soup. Mostly leeks and onions though. It's actually not potato. It's going to be leek, onion, and broccoli. And if I'm feeling like it, I might add some spinach in here. So the first thing we're going to do as always is you start with your oil, your fats. The goal for this dish was to keep it vegetarian, but I only have chicken stock, so it's not really going to be vegetarian. But ideally, you want to use veggie stock. So I'm going to start with the oil, and I'm going to throw in it's 1 chopped white onion, 1 chopped yellow onion, and 1 shallot. Now this dish is mostly onion, so if you like onions, this dish is for you. At this point in the game, you would also throw in probably 2 cloves of garlic, but I don't have any fresh garlic because I'm trying to go and do groceries as infrequently as possible. So yeah, you're gonna brown these onions, you're gonna caramelize them, you're gonna let them be translucent and basically sweat them out until all their flavor is just permeating the air. We're gonna do that. That's gonna probably be like 1 or 2 minutes. It's on high right now. At which point, after that's nice and sweated out, I'm gonna throw in my leeks. But I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm just gonna keep stirring because I don't want this to stick to the bottom. I want these to keep sweating out. Yeah, they smell pretty good already. So because I don't have the garlic, I'm going to put in some garlic powder, which garlic powder and onion powder, man, I put it into everything. And usually it's going to be about 1 teaspoon of each. Garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, just because they really don't taste like their fresh versions. Oh yeah, but ideally that fresh garlic is what you want in here. Okay, that smells really good. I don't know, but I just love the smell of onions and onion powder. Something about it just makes my mouth water. Smells so good. So at this point, we want it to keep cooking, and we're gonna keep stirring. Keep stirring. If you don't care about making it vegetarian, you could start with bacon fat and bacon as your starter, and then you throw in the onions, and that could give it a little bit more depth in the flavor. You could even start with chicken and butter, but I was trying to make it vegetarian and give the protein a little bit of a rest and the animal byproducts a little bit of a rest, aside from the dairy products, which obviously is going to be the cream. So they're looking pretty translucent and they smell amazing, so I'm going to throw, this is 3 leeks sliced and chopped. Okay, so you can see they're about a 1/2 inch thickness, and I'm just going to cook them in here because the majority of this soup is just going to be leek flavor. So you better really like leeks, and if you don't, you can just cut it in half and do 1 1/2 leeks. Okay, my leeks have obviously been washed, rinsed, cleaned, and I like to remove the outer layer obviously and chop the ends off, because leeks really are in the onion family. So for this type of soup, you better really like leeks and onions. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move this to the front so that my short arms could reach it. Still on high, still stirring. making sure that the leeks are getting coated in that olive oil so they don't stick to the bottom of this large stock pot here. And then if you want, you can add a little bit more olive oil just for depth of flavor. And I just use this one, but I really like the Goya olive oils, and I'll probably go back to that once I'm done with this one. But then again, I just prefer Goya products because I grew up with them and I just like the flavor that they give the food. Something about Spanish olives just really gets me going. I really love olives in general. But anyway, we're sweating out the leeks, the onions, still stirring, and they look like a little onion medley, and they smell delicious. At this point, okay, we're going to add, this is 1 cup of chicken stock. And we're going to simmer it. And we're going to add 1 cup of water. Okay, so I'm gonna peek on it. It looks like the broccoli is starting to steam up, so I'm gonna add another cup or add 1 cup of water to the 3.5 cups of stock. And in the meantime, I'm gonna start working on the spices. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of salt, Himalayan salt, 1 teaspoon of white pepper, and 1 teaspoon of ground bay leaves. And I'm going to put them into this mortar and pestle, grind them up really well, and then add it to my soup mixture. Okay, so we're back here. I'm gonna check up on this now that I can hear it boiling. And the broccoli looks like it's steamed but not fully cooked. It's kind of what I want because I don't want the broccoli to disintegrate too much. At this point, I'm going to add my spices, which they look and smell delicious. Oh yeah, it smells really good. Okay, now that that smells fantastic, we've previously poured in 1 cup of water. This is about halfway full. Now we want to add 2 cups of cream, heavy cream. This is what's going to make our soup creamy. This is the cream in creamy leek soup. And the way that you thicken cream is by just cooking it and reducing it. Okay, so we're not going to cover it anymore because we want it to thicken up, so we want a lot of the water evaporate out of it. Now, because that cream wasn't warmed up, the whole pot has to reheat itself. So ideally, the cream should be warm when you pour it in, so it cooks and heats up and thickens up even faster. So now we're gonna leave it on medium, and we're gonna just let it sit here and wait for it to boil up. So now that we're back, I wanted y'all to see what it's looking like when it starts to bubble up and that cream starts to cook. Yes, this looks bomb. It's thickening up really nicely, and it is it's gonna be delish. I already know it. I'm gonna have to taste it in a minute because at this point you kind of want to make sure that the flavors are where you want them to be so that you can add more seasoning if needed. And I'm still considering adding, my glass is fogged up. I'm still considering adding some spinach. So let me take a spoonful and taste, because you always want to taste your food before you serve it to anyone. See if the flavor is where I want it to be. Oh man, that's piping hot. I think I need a little bit more salt. Yeah, so maybe a little bit more pepper. Let's get some more salt. I've added the salt and pepper into here. And I wanted to say, if you wanted to add potatoes into this, which potatoes is a great additional veggie to add in here, because the potato itself is a thickening agent. The starch in the potato would thicken up the soup faster than just me cooking it down and letting it thicken up naturally. Okay, so if you wanted to add potatoes in this, you could slice them, quarter them, whatever, dice them kind of small, whatever you want. But at that point, you want to make sure that you put them around the same time that you put the broccoli, or a little bit before. So you put the potatoes in before you put the broccoli, because the broccoli is going to cook faster than the potatoes would. And you kind of don't want your broccoli to start to disintegrate too much. Like right now, the broccoli is still holding its shape, and that's good. That's kind of what I want, because I want that crunch. I want a little bit of chewiness, because it is a soup and you want different textures in your soup. Another thing that if you wanted to do, you could add some pasta, and alternatively to just eating the soup, we might add a side of pasta into it after it's cooked, just for a little bit more substance in the dish. And funny shapes and fun shapes like this, I think, would lend itself well to a thicker, creamier pasta or soup, not pasta. But yeah, as you can see, it's bubbling, it smells delicious, and this is basically almost done. I'm going to lower the heat and taste it again and see if the flavor is where I want it to be. It's not as creamy as I want it to be yet, because it's still hot, but if you let it cool down a little bit, it'll show its true thickness. I should say viscosity, but yeah. Oh yeah. That is good. I really do love me some creamy soups. And I actually don't think I'm gonna throw spinach in here, but if I were to add spinach right now, would be a great time to add a good handful of spinach into this. Let's see what it looks like. Sorry about that. I know that's gonna be loud. Let's see what it looks like in a nice little bowl, because this is basically done. Oh yeah. So this is gonna be nice, creamy soup. Bam. Let me see if you can see it a little bit better. And you can top that off with some Parmesan if you want, some black pepper, and call it a day. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my creamy leek and broccoli soup. I hope you enjoy it when you make it at home.
Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Do not forget to subscribe, and we need comments. And help me to share my channel by smashing the like button. That really does help.